here huffing my tomato, wishing it was summer. From the looks of it online, everybody else is wishing it was summer too. And right now everybody's chomping at the bit, ready to start their seeds so we can be ready to get our 2021 garden into the ground. And everybody's asking about the seed starting stations, or as I have seen them so lovingly dubbed, the germination stations. It's okay. So I figured that I would join the fray and throw out my 2 cents and show everybody how we've been starting our seeds here at Beck's Corner Garden. I do want to take a second to brag real quick because this is our Tiny Tim tomato. It's a dwarf variety, perfect for indoors and patios. And we actually have our first 2 tomatoes of 2021 on this plant right now, so we're pretty excited about that. Thank goodness too, because he loves cherry tomatoes. Can I put you down now? So, jumping right into it, from the most important thing that a plant needs to survive, of course, is a light. What we have here is some basic 5,000 lumen and some 3,200 lumen shop lights that we picked up at Walmart. And after doing a lot of research last year before we started our 2020 garden, we realized that really all you're looking for is the kelvins, which is the light color to properly simulate the plant light and make your plants happy. So we just look at the box right here and we find the color and temperature, and it says 5,000 K, and so we are good. They want it to be between 3 and 7,000 kelvins. We also have these little clamp light fixtures, which are $3 to $5 a piece, depending on the size that you get, and the little cheap LED bulbs. These are another $5 or so at Walmart, but that's another cheap setup. We move those around as needed. Right now they're just kind of hanging out, but they happen to be in a good spot for an example, so might as well show them off, right? The other thing, working from the ground up, is our shelves. Last year we used the 4 or 5 shelf wire rack units. We had a couple of those set up, and the fluorescent lights attached to them very, very nicely. These are basically the same concept, but we found them on sale as well. And they're floating shelves, so we can move them as needed. We can split them up. We can take them down. They're very versatile, and we've enjoyed having them for this season starting seeds so far. It also allows us to do things like where we have shelves here and over here on the other side set up for our warmer stuff like the flowers and peppers and tomatoes. You can see back here at the window, which is a little drafty around it, so it stays a little bit cooler over here. But we have our trays of brassicas, onions, kales, and nasturtiums. All things that like cooler weather. So we've set them over here. It's not much colder over here, maybe 8 degrees, but it still might put it under that 75-degree temperature that our peppers and tomatoes prefer. So we figured, why not take some shelves and make use of this space over here and have our cooler plants be a little bit happier, and they've seemed to enjoy it so far. So going up from the shelves, we have the containers that we put our seedlings in. This right here is a Dollar Tree find. It's one of the dish buckets over by their spatulas and stuff. We got a lot of those. We found they fit 12 of the cups that we found at Dollar Tree, our clear plastic ones here. They fit 12 of them fantastically. And so for all of this stuff, like all the cups and all the clear cups and the white tubs that we got, I think we spent like $10 on and got a lot of stuff to hold our seedlings. We're also reusing some of the solo cups that we had last year. If you remember from our garden tours at the beginning, it always looked like there was a kegger thrown in our yard. That was why we had them all labeled have other labels, but what we can use, we're reusing of those. And we also got some color-coded ones for our peppers and eggplants and tomatoes. Well, the tomatoes are basic red, but so that way, just at a glance, we know roughly what's what, at least what plant it is, a tomato, pepper, eggplant, and have a little bit of better idea of what's going on there. We also picked these little containers up at Dollar Tree. I think there was 10 in a pack for $1, and they're 2 or 2.5 inches across, basically. They're pretty good little cups. They have drainage already in the bottom. That's one thing, if you do use the solo cups or any other little cups, just make sure you poke some holes in the bottom. We use a drill bit and just go right through. It works great. So another way that you can save a lot of money, other than not going out and buying the expensive plant lights, just buying regular shop lights, don't spend $30 or $40 on a ton of the little heat germination mats if you don't have to. If we wanted to do that for all of the seedlings we were starting this year, we would have had to spend a lot of money just on heat mats. So instead, what we've done is we just bring our little space heater in here, and the seeds that we're waiting to germinate, we point directly at it, keep that soil nice and warm, and then otherwise generally it's keeping the rest of the room at a nice steady 75 degrees, which is right where we want it. So that's another really good way to save money whenever you're starting a lot of seeds. Another thing that's really saved us this year is watering. Whenever you have seeds that haven't sprouted yet in the tops of cups, they're really easy to get displaced when you water. And whenever you have little seedlings like this that you can't really bottom water yet because their root systems aren't developed enough to reach the bottom of the cups, you still got to get water to them somehow. And this is a lot of stuff to water. So we have our little 2-gallon pump sprayer here. And it has our little wand. We keep it pumped up. And it makes going through and giving everything a little drink from the top a breeze. And it doesn't displace seeds. It doesn't move around the soil a lot. And it gets us just how much we want. So this has been a lifesaver. The last major item that we use is another thing that you can very oftentimes find on clearance at the end of the seasons, but you probably won't be able to find it in the store until after you need, so it's one that you need to have on hand or have a little forethought. But get a box fan, an oscillating fan, any type of little fan that will move around your greenhouse and kind of move your plants around a little bit, because that is what's going to help them create strong enough stems that when you take them outside and expose them to the elements, they're not going to be completely without a little seedling strength training, I guess you could call it. When it comes closer to it, we'll go over like the hardening off and stuff of moving them out for a couple of hours and bringing them back in, which is another process when you have so many seeds, but or seedlings. But it's another very important resource to utilize so you don't kill your seedlings right off the bat when you take them outside, because you don't want to put in the 2-3 months of work inside nurturing them and babying them to get them ready and then them dying as soon as you take them out. And a fan is a really simple way to give them a really good head start. So that's all we use to actually hold and set the environment up for our seedlings. So then we get into what we actually do with each seedling. We take a regular organic potting mix, and instead of buying the $7 or $8 little bags of seed starting medium, we buy the regular organic potting mix, and we take our little wire basket and we filter it through We take all the big chunks out, and we will layer the bottom quarter of the cup or so with the big chunks, and then we take our finely sifted soil. It's all nice and soft, and we fill it the rest of the way up. And that basically gets you the same seed starting medium that you're going to get in the bag, just without the huge price tag. And once again, we bought it at the end of last season, got it on clearance, paid almost nothing to start everything that we already have. We're running out, so we'll have to get some more soon, but still not going to be nearly as expensive as if we had to buy seed starting medium for every one of these starts. Along with the seed starting medium, we're going to have to pick up some sand, and we'll probably just get some of the regular tube sand that you would throw in the back of your truck in icy conditions or something. It's just plain sand. There's nothing special about it, but putting an 1/8 of an inch layer on top of the soil will help combat a lot of those fungus gnats that you'll notice popping up, because when you start watering your seedlings, unfortunately, the water wakes up the fungus gnat eggs that is harbored in almost every soil you've ever had. And then before you know it, not only are you getting seed sproutlings, but you're getting fungus gnats too. And the sand is a really easy way to combat that. Very cheap, $3 or $4. And then you won't get any of the damage or the nuisance of them. Just like any other plant, you're going to want to feed your seedlings before they go outside, because by the time they get to go outside, they're going to have used up all of the nutrients in the starting medium that we have. So, and their seed only goes so far. So, this is just about to the stage where we're probably going to give it a little bit of food. We'll wait until they have 2 or 3 full sets of true leaves on them. And they just got their one and are starting a second set. So we'll wait until these are a little bit bigger, and we'll go ahead and give them some food. These are a delicious tomato, and they're looking pretty freaking great. But you don't want to feed them when they are still so small, because you'll burn the seedling. It's too much for them, and they'll overload, and you don't want that. They won't be happy. Another thing for your seeds is before they sprout, when they're still just little seeds in the cup, make sure you don't keep them too moist, because they'll rot, but you don't want to keep them too dry. That's where the humidity dome comes into play. A lot of times we're bad about it, I'll admit. We don't cover all of the seeds that we start, and we do have pretty fair luck with our germination. But if you're not going to be an obsessive type of gardener like we are, or have them in a very accessible spot like we do, because this little room that we're standing in now is off the side of our kitchen. So we're in and out of here all day, every day. We always end up stopping over here to check on our seedlings. We'll know if they're drying out. But if you don't, the lid is a really good aid in maintaining that moisture until they germinate. And then just whenever you have 90 to 100% germination in your trays, go ahead and pop off the lids, because you don't want the seedling staying too moist. That will encourage things like damping off and funguses and stuff like that. And we don't want, like I said, we've already put in enough work. We don't want to kill our plants just by neglecting something simple like taking off a lid. I'm going to cut in here real quick and show you where we do have some of our seedlings covered. These are our cupcake trays that we found on clearance. They're just a 6-pack cupcake tray. You can reuse them, find them cheap. We're germinating poppies in there, gray poppies. But it's just an example of how we cover stuff. So really, that's about it for our actual seed starting. We covered lights, the shelving, the dirt. We covered don't let them dry out, but you don't want them to be too wet so they don't rot, so keep them covered and keep an eye on them. Keep most of your seeds at a nice 75-80 degree temperature for good germination. And don't spend a lot of money, and don't be scared of the price tags that you see on everything marketed towards gardeners, because there's almost always, I won't say always, but there's almost always a cheaper alternative, and it's going to get you basically the same result as spending a bunch of money. And whenever you're doing it on a large scale, whenever you don't have a lot of money, but you have big goals, doing it cheap is the way to go, man. I hope this helped you a little bit. I hope this is encouraging you to start your own seeds, and I hope it's helping you save a couple bucks while you do it. I wish somebody had helped me save the hours we spent researching how to do this cheaper, but I think after many hours of searching, we were able to compile a pretty decent system for what we've got going on here. And I hope you guys can do the same at home. So, until next time, you guys have a great evening.